Warning, this podcast contains a mystery storm cellar.
Everything's a fucking mystery in this show.
I was thinking like the Wizard of Oz myself. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Pretty Little Liars Season 7, Episode 7, Original Gangsters. I'm your host, Dom. With me is Nikki.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's going. So, welcome back.
Eh.
Eh. What'd you think of this episode?
There was a lot of bullshit, as
Okay.
usual. No, it's just every time they break to a new segment of the show, it's just another thing going, oh, boo hoo to you, because that's all that happened. Seriously, I mean, the only part that was slightly happy was Arya and Ezra, and I was just like, oh, that's so stupid.
Gag me with a fork.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Ezra was cute about the whole eloping thing. He's like, let's go to Tuscany and Vineyard and, elope. And, that's cool. If it's not Arya.
What do you have against Arya?
What do I have against... I think the only person... No, I like Hannah, and I'm okay with Emily. I don't like Spencer, and I don't like Arya. And I'm not even including Allie in the equation because I've hated her from the very get-go because of just the way she was in high school.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know, when I first came back, it was just it felt like a mystery drama without the high school drama.
Right.
And now they're getting back in the high school drama, and I just want to pluck my eyes out. I want to take a spoon and go.
I don't see the high school drama. I don't.
I do. It's like the freaking three-way with Hannah, Spencer, and Caleb, and then Toby's thrown in.
What three-way? Did I miss something? I don't remember a
okay,
three-way.
Wait. Love triangle.
Oh, okay.
But then the Toby, he's the extra.
Toby.
The Toby, he's off to the side, but he's starting to make the good decisions and moving on. So I mean, I'm okay with him too. He's doing all right.
The Toby.
The Toby.
From now on, any TV show that we watch that you have a love triangle with somebody that used to maybe be in said triangle that's wouldn't have been a triangle but has moved on from the triangle is now the Toby. So that's a thing. That is 100% a thing.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are a lot of things that happened that I'm okay with, but it's just the basis of what's going on is I can't handle it.
Spencer might be A though, and if Spencer is A, because all the little things about I don't think I've shown you that post.
No, you still haven't shown me the post.
Yeah, remind me, which you're gonna forget to do after this podcast, and I will show you the post, and you're gonna read it and be like, oh my god. But anyway, it's just I don't know, Toby, yes, he's moving on and everything, but he felt the need to admit to Spencer that the house that he was building was not for Yvonne. It was for Spencer. Yeah. And then he's just and I decided that I can't imagine my life without Yvonne, so we're going to leave and go to Maine and start a family and be happy, and it's basically as perfect as I'm going to get. What? Why even bother telling her that? You literally just ripped the rug out from under her.
Because, she's done with Caleb Caleb does...
And he knows that. He knows that because he knew where Caleb was hiding. So it's he knew that she broke up with Caleb. So now he's going to be oh, this house, I was building it for you, not Yvonne. But, peace, we're going. See ya. Now you're really fucked. Let me just pull on your heartstrings some more.
Yes.
But now you like Toby, is what you're saying.
He needed to do that because otherwise Spencer would have held on and fucked over his relationship with Yvonne, which seems better than it ever was with Spencer.
I still think she's going to do it.
I mean, if she's A and she's that maniacal and manipulative, yes, she's gonna freaking do it somehow. If not, she's gonna get
I mean,
Somebody A's gonna do it.
She seemed like she cared for Yvonne, like, because Toby's house got broken into. Somebody stole a file. It was the file that Emily gave to, Toby a couple episodes ago. That was the only thing that was missing. And Yvonne got injured. She, like, fell down the stairs or something, right?
I thought she got beat up.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really go into too much detail. She got injured from that, but I don't know how, But
yeah,
I
mean, she had like bruised ribs and stuff like that, or a cracked rib. So I mean,
she had release papers to go the same day, so it couldn't have been too
bad. No.
So, but you had that, and then you have like Caleb, who has been helping Hannah and the girls, but mainly like helping Hannah like at one point this episode sort through some papers that the girls ended up finding in Jenna's room, which we'll get to in a minute. But he's sorting through, trying to crack the code, and then he notices the engagement ring missing off of Hannah's hand, and Hannah noticed him noticing it. So then she felt awkward and kind of had to tell him that they're not together, and they basically had a cuddle session on the couch without the cuddling, but it felt like it was going to break into like cuddle canoodling. I don't know.
See, I like Caleb and Hannah together, and I like that she stood up and was like, okay, yes, this is what happened, and she came out and she was like, she admitted to what's going on with her, because otherwise it would have been even more awkward, because she's not saying anything, but he knows that there's something up, and he's not going to ask her about it because it might be a touchy subject. He still really feels about her, and he doesn't want to, egg her on and make her feel bad, and he's like, okay, he wants to give her space, so, like, for her to come out and say that and be, like, really, I keep saying come out, which is not the right phrase. She's admitting to what's going on, and it's just better for her to say it than for him to ask about it. And
but what do you think this means for Lucas? Because Lucas is the first one who noticed the ring.
Lucas has always liked Hannah, and he's never had a chance other than a friend.
Fair enough, but do you think that's going to stop him from trying?
No. He's still going to back her with her new business. He's still going to give her all these opportunities. He gave her a freaking car, an apartment.
We saw, not this episode, but last week, there was some friction going on with that. And,
because
they're
Hannah's not a business person. Right. She doesn't know how to make these, executive decisions. She needs help, but he's not there to help.
Do you think now, finding out that her and Caleb got back together, that Lucas is going to cause some problems with that?
They're not back together.
They're basically back together. They're basically their whole conversation. Like I said, they pretty much almost cuddled with clothes on.
They had a conversation. It doesn't mean that they're going to take that next step yet. So yes, it's probably going to get to that point, but it's not yet. Like,
is it going to cause problems with Lucas? Is what I'm getting at.
It might, because Lucas probably thought he had a shot because she was showing interest in him, but not in the way that he wants.
To be fair, though, like, when Lucas first offered it to her, she was still engaged to Jordan and still had the ring on. There was no reason for Lucas to think otherwise. So
it's true.
That wasn't necessarily his sole reason for doing it.
No. He's always liked her. He wants to give her the chance because he sees her potential, just like everybody else does, but she's so, like, flaky, she doesn't see her potential.
Yeah.
So, like, he's just trying to encourage her because she is talented.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it started out, but, I mean, he's, like I said, he's always cared for her in some way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But, yeah. So we had some more from Emily this episode, her and her mom. It started out, they went jogging.
So cute.
The jogging scene was like my favorite.
I love how playful her mom was.
Yeah, it was great. It was because, you I think missed the part in, I think it was last season, the first half of last season, toward the end of the first half, when Emily's father died.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, so her mother really hasn't been the same since, and it's her birthday, and she doesn't want to do anything. She wants to keep it really low-key. They finally agree to go, to the Radley when Emily's shift is over and, have dinner. Mm-hmm. And it's just been like, I was just like, they sat there and they talked and they were like, oh, so you haven't seen the inside of the Radley since, it's been converted. And she's like, no. And I'm just like, really? You didn't go check out your daughter's new job? Like, at that age, like, yeah, I get she's not in high school anymore, so you're not going to go run like, oh my god, she's got a job. Let's go pop in and say hi and, whatever. But, like, yeah, it's only been 5 years since they graduated high school, but still, I feel like at some point you're going to visit. Like, I go visit my mom at her job. I didn't wait for an invitation.
But Emily only recently started that job, right? Because she's been off trying,
Yeah, I guess.
schooling. She just
She's
came back to Rosewood.
As far
Like
as
with
I'm concerned, because we've been watching the show, she's been working 3 weeks. So, as far as
yeah,
I'm concerned.
I'm still, but like
Even though it was probably 3 days. Who knows? We don't know the time between these shows. We're going to assume it's been 3 days.
I assume it's a little bit longer because she's actually practicing how to make the drinks.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's investing her time into being a mixologist.
Yeah. But so much for a low-key party. It ends
Yeah.
up they scheduled their dinner during a bachelorette party, which, Emily is working at a bar who probably that kind of bar seems like the kind that would have knowledge that a
hmm
party was coming in and would ask all the employees to work that night, but Emily just somehow didn't know there was a bachelorette party happening the night, or
I
I
mean,
don't know.
to be fair, a lot of bachelorette parties, like, they don't plan on the bar, they bar hop.
Yeah, I guess.
So, I mean,
I mean,
I
I've
mean,
never been to one.
I
Just
hope
saying.
not. It's a
Just saying.
girls only kind of thing.
Actually, I accidentally was at one, but I didn't attend it. It was next to me. You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, that's happened to me too. I've never actually attended one, but
I
I've
went for
heard
hibachi.
stories.
I went for hibachi one night, and they had a bachelorette party next to me.
Did they give you a crown?
I wanted one, but they snubbed like everybody. They were really mean. So
Oh.
good luck for her husband. But but at least these like they were respectful. Like yes, they know they're being loud. They sent over drinks. They sent cosmopolitans over as peace offerings.
hmm
That was actually really cool. You don't see that very often. You don't. You're looking like, oh, that's a thing. No, that's not a thing. Like we had the loud, obnoxious people at the bocce, and then you go to like say something to joke around with them, and they just like look at you, and then like turn away and just completely. And it wasn't just me, so I'm not taking it personally.
No, 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 no,
But
no.
there
I
was
understand. There are groups that do that, and there are groups that do what happened in the show. I mean, there is middle grounds too, but I mean, it's not unheard of because I've been near bachelorette parties in the same venue, and they're friendly as like
yeah.
after they get a few more drinks, and they're even more friendly. But hey,
You don't
I
typically
mean,
see them buying drinks for people. That was my point. Like, yeah, they might be friendly, but I thought that was really cool of them. And Emily's mom, she's just like, hey, I'm gonna go say thanks. Oh, let me grab my Cosmo, and she runs.
that was that was after Emily told her to live her life
Right.
because she was like sitting there like this, like she had a headache. She just didn't want to be there. She was like, she wanted to go hermit in her house,
See
and Emily's
that
just like, you can't do that
that's
anymore.
what I'm
You have to
saying
move on.
is headaches are self-induced bullshit that people need to just snap the fuck out of. That's what they are. Because you saw, go have fun, go drink, and then she's fucking doing karaoke or like the electric slide or whatever the fuck that thing was. Like I don't do that shit. But what the hell were they doing? I don't even know.
They were dancing and they were having fun, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
What,
And
what,
she's gonna
oh,
go
the
to book
conga
club.
line. That's what I was thinking. Conga
Oh.
line. They were having a conga line. Or she said they were anyway. And, it's and then she's coming back to tell Emily that she's going over Margaret's and Bree's for book club. And don't tell, I don't remember, Tina, Kimberly, somebody. Don't tell somebody, Rachel, because they're not gonna,
They're not inviting them.
yeah, they're not invited. So, But, it was just great because she needed that.
It's a typical outing when
Yeah.
you have a bunch of people together and not all of them always jive. It's I'm not antisocial, but that kind of shit steers me away from having more friends than I do right now.
Okay. Okay. Um, but then on the other hand, like the other bonding, we had mother daughter bonding here, but then we had Mary and Allison bonding time, and Jason, after a very long absence, decides to come back home and break this up. He comes in with a lumberjack beard going on, long hair.
That's not a lumberjack beard. That's just like a little
That is
longer
a
than scruff.
lumberjack beard.
Now with
Allie
lumberjack,
even
it's
said,
like,
all you need is flannel.
yeah, for a hipster, not a lumberjack.
No.
Yes,
Do
that's
you,
what she said.
do you not watch Axemen? Like, do you not know
Do you
what's
not
going
know
on?
where I'm from?
You're from Canada. So,
Exactly. That's where lumberjacks
that's what
originate
Canadian
from.
lumberjacks look like. I don't care where they originate from. This is taking place in the U.S. Right? So we're talking about U.S. lumberjacks like Paul Bunyan and his great blue ox. And
You mean his Jason's great big blue eyes?
yes, yeah,
Believe me,
that's
when
their
I first
nickname,
saw
the
him,
blue ox.
when I first saw him, I was like, wait a second, that's not Jason. Like, oh really?
I mean,
Okay.
the actor did change from season 1 to season 2, but it hasn't changed since. It's been the same actor.
It's true.
So, um,
And he looks decent, but I mean, she did mention the word hipster. She didn't bring up the word lumberjack.
yeah, I guess. But
So
like the first thing he does is he gets in the door and he's like, "Get the fuck out, Mary." I'm just like,
I don't blame.
whoa.
He doesn't know the whole story. And from his view, Mary is the bad guy.
She still might be. Like, she does have Allie a little wrapped around her finger. Like, she's manipulating Allie, whether it's for affection, that may legitimately be her only end game, is manipulation for affection.
She
If
wants
all her backstory
Madeline?
that she told, about Jessica stealing everything is true, this seems like a self like self-purpose, like, I'm gonna steal Allison for mine because Jessica stole everything from me, including Charles, and this may be like her own personal goal of getting Allison to feel like some self-accomplishment, and I took something finally.
I mean,
Even though Jessica's long gone at this point.
yes, Jessica's long gone, and I say you can't steal from the dead, but you can. Um, it's not going to affect the dead, of course, but I mean, at this point, I think Mary just wants the family that she couldn't have because of Jessica. So, like, maybe she is trying to weasel her way in,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, really, I think it is for affection's sake at this point.
Yeah.
And like, she's just as, you know, mad and like upset about the money going missing because of Elliot. I mean, she still could be the one that took it, and she's playing on that. I mean,
She could.
nobody really knows, but like, Arya could.
I mean, and Jason's not just protecting Allie. Like, Jason had, a great portion involved in the Karasimi group, which
Yeah.
we still don't really fucking know what it is. They keep bringing it up, and I'm getting more and more mad that we never actually like found out what the thing is, other than
Yeah.
somewhere that's like hosting scholarships. But I don't know.
I mean,
so he's upset with that too.
of course he is. And, maybe he is getting a little crazy about it, like a little overboard, but he does have the right footing to make these stands. Like, he can say what he's saying. It is his home. He can evict her. He can kick her out.
Yeah.
He has those rights. So, I mean, and he has his rights to not accept her too. I mean, nobody can make him. And
Right.
the only thing is that I know I probably missed it was the Jason and Arya bond.
No, you didn't miss it. This is brand new. Like,
So it must have happened during the
during the
time
5
skip.
year. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that now. But like,
Yeah, that was like that
I
was
don't
complete shock because he's like, he's very concerned for Allison, and he calls in for backup. He calls in for Arya, and that's when we learn Arya and Jason had some fling. They had something going on. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was a fling or if they were together, but they kept it a secret from everyone. No one knows. No one.
I think Allison kind of has an idea now
Well,
because
she saw them holding it. They were not holding hands, but Arya was being like comforting, at dinner, and put her hand on top of his to try to like soothe it. And Allison definitely looked at it. She
yeah,
definitely
she
looked at it.
she definitely noticed that they have a connection, but at this point, like she wouldn't know what kind of connection, just that they know each other and they're friends and they're trying to, you know, kind of put an intervention together against Mary
Yeah.
and Allie. So like she's of course Allison's gonna try and defend herself and be a little protective to like against them
Right.
and like put up her walls.
So
And I'd be super mad at Arya right now. I would be mad if I was
yeah,
Allie.
yeah, I agree. But during the dinner, we learn, that Mary did kind of see Jason at one point, and they show a flashback. The flashback was actually from season 6, episode 4. Um, the flashback was early last season, and I specifically remember we saw it from Jessica and Jason's point of view, where Jason came to the house. That noise was there. He asked who was in the house. That whole scene that they showed was a legitimate scene. But then he left, and Jessica was just being super shady about it, and we never found out. So now we found out, a whole season later, that
Okay.
it was actually Jessica in the house. Now I don't know if it was always intended to be Jessica, or they just may have left that as a hook for something to go back and answer later, so they knew, it was a hook. Who knows? We'll never know for sure. But I thought that was still cool to be able to do that and see the actress play both Jessica and Mary in the same scene. I thought that was kind of cool. And it definitely looks like they made Mary taller than Jessica, because I noticed when they were standing looking at each other, they were not the same height. So
Well, I mean, Jessica was doing yard work or she was working on planters and stuff,
could
so
have
she
been
was probably
heels.
wearing runners and Mary was wearing heels.
Could have been,
Yeah,
but
that
yeah. But they had mentioned, and see, this is where I start getting suspicious of Mary. Is she casually drops Aunt Carol's storm cellar, and you just happen to have A go into the storm cellar and blowing it up and shit, and it's just like, that's a little too coincidental that it wasn't taken care of beforehand if it was such a big thing that A was using or was worried about or whatever, because when the girls go in there to investigate, right, they go in together. Arya doesn't go with them. There's no file for Arya in the place, right? Arya's
right.
file is missing. They specifically said Jessica's been investigating all of us. There's photos, there's files, there's everything. They have Mary's medical records, which they find out Mary had a second child. Second child is the girl's age, but we don't know the gender. Could be a brother, could be a sister, and it's possibly who AD is. They may want revenge, so this is Charlotte's brother or sister. So it's kind of weird. But then you have like the car alarm going off, right? So they all run outside. Spencer goes to shut it off. She's like, the keys are gone. We have to close the doors. Get in. Like, what? Why get in the car? Like, I don't understand.
Just shut the fucking doors.
Right. Like, that... Out of everything this episode, I was completely fine with, except for that. Like, why do you need all 4 people to get in the car and sit down? Like, I could see maybe one person sitting in the car. Like, if you had, like, Spencer, she's driving, maybe have Spencer sit in. So, this, to me, is the Spencer is orchestrating things theory, because why else did everybody have to go in the car? She's the one that told everyone to get in the car.
Especially that because the place blew up, so like the car would be the safest place to be in, and she doesn't want the girls to get hurt. Getting in the car and locking the doors makes sense, so they can't get out and get blown up.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, that didn't make sense to me either, and like thinking that Spencer's orchestrating it and she wants to make sure nobody gets hurt and, with the impending explosion, it makes sense
Yeah.
that way, but like, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, then the
There's no
20-second
other way to
countdown,
explain it.
Hannah's like, that's what happens when people are going to explode. And I was just like, fucking Hannah, right? Like,
Well, she's not wrong.
she's not, but, like, I don't know. They get the message on the GPS that said, if you find out who I am before I find out who killed Charlotte, you die. And then, the seller self-destruct like a fucking Mission Impossible note. And, then the person writes, I see you in the dirt on the back of the window. It's just like, what the hell is going on? Like, and then the very, very end of the episode, we see there was an Arya file, and AD's got it. There was a Noel file, which AD has as well. Throws it in the trash, pours a bunch of alcohol on it, and is about to set it on fire. So it's just like, what the hell is in these files that, like, why did they have them outside of Jessica's lair?
Who's Dr. Cochran?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that her name? Cochran?
Yeah, that's something that was mentioned. We'll get to that in a minute, but Dr. Okay. Cochran was in
you mentioned
the hotel.
Noel, and that's exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, it's just like, I'm thinking, if this is somebody that's about the girl's age, it's somebody that they probably know, and that explains a whole lot, because I'm sitting there, and I said last week, I said, if they went in and they took the test for Emily, they had to be, about that age to get in to take the test. So it's got to be somebody that the girls know that are right under their face. Two options are screaming at me right now, like screaming as loud as possible. And one is Noel, but he seems to be the obvious choice, so I'm going to eliminate him just for the sake of being obvious. Second choice is Lucas. Right? Because Lucas... No, I don't see it being Mona.
No?
I see it being a guy. Like, we saw this person attack Allie in the house. Right?
But would Lucas call Emily an ungrateful bitch?
Maybe. We don't know if Lucas has a temper and, all this stuff, and that was his sister that, was killed, then, or his brother, Charles, Charlotte, whatever, like he's gonna be furious at all of them, and for getting in the way and doing. So if it's Lucas, the other possibility, and it's one we can't forget about, is Ren. We haven't seen Ren in forever, but just like we haven't seen Noel in forever, all of a sudden Noel came back. So, Ren is still completely in the picture. Ren has an accent, we know that much, so kind of all fits the bill, for a lot of this. So I'm not excluding Ren. I'm not excluding Lucas. I am going to exclude Noel, just because it's too obvious.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned Cochran. We had girls sneaking into Jenna's room. That's when Caleb caught Hannah in there, and they come up with this whole plan where Caleb treats Jenna to a spa day, but she doesn't know that it's Caleb. She just thinks the hotel did it, and borrows her key, and they go and find paperwork in the safe. That's when Noel comes in. Emily and Hannah crawl under the bed and hide, and that's when we hear Dr. Cochran mentioned on the phone, and Noel, well, we don't hear him, but we hear Noel looking for Dr. Cochran, and says, well, I'm running out of time and patience. So
we also find out that Noel put the file that was stolen from Toby's place
into that file, though. That's what I'm asking. Like,
that's what Spencer said. Spencer said Noel broke into Toby's airspace for the file.
Okay.
And she sent that to Emily via text, because I think, but she sent it to one of the girls. I mean, I lose track.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Spencer knows that it's the file. She's not telling Toby this for not getting him involved for reasons. But I mean, at that point, it's withholding information. And
because Noel was just being a dick. Like, the only interaction we saw him have this episode without anyone really was Emily, and he's sitting there flashing money off, and go, I always knew you'd never get out of Rosewood, Emily, and then he like toasts her later when she's having the party with her mom, and it's just like, you know.
Asshole, she was out of Rosewood. She came back because she had to come back.
Right.
And now she's there because she can't leave, so she's making ends meet, and she wants to go back to school so she
Yeah.
can leave again.
I mean, it's like he could say the same thing about Jenna, because Jenna
Yeah.
is back, now, and but I mean, it seems a little different because Emily looks pretty settled in because she has a job, so it's a little different than coming back to visit, but so he would just assume that if somebody had a job in the area that they, he hasn't been around either, so. If I came back, if I was Noel and I saw Emily working somewhere, I wouldn't think, oh, she left. I'd think, oh, she's got a job that's pretty permanent. She's still living here, so I can't fault him for that.
Are you enough of a dick to assume that she never left in the first place?
Yeah.
You would not, talk to her before you assume and make statements to her?
No, I'm a dick. We know this. We know this. Don't act surprised or confused.
I'm not. I'm acting disappointed and disgusted right now.
Well, that's completely fine. At least it's genuine. So, but yeah, they're making Noel. We have coming up, I think, episode 9. So it's not this next episode, but the episode after. It's called Wrath of Khan. We went over this, so we know that there's going to be an episode kind of. Explaining, I want to say, why he's angry and doing whatever he's doing and maybe going on a warpath or whatever. So we're going to get a whole Noel, backstory and hopefully find out what's been going on in the 5 years he's been gone kind of deal. Because before this, it's just the last time we saw him was framing or covering up Arya's murder job or whatever. So that was the last time we saw him. So we don't know what happened to him in the last 5 years. So... But
he's probably been a model for underwear.
No?
Why not?
Why?
Only models have can have that egotistical, I'm better than everyone, I'm gonna flash my money and drink fancy drinks at a hotel bar all the time kind of thing, and come home and assume that everybody just stayed there and is gonna bend over for him.
So you're telling me that I should have been an underwear model?
I'm not talking about you.
Well, you pretty much described everything that I've ever done.
You expect people to bend over for you?
Yep. Kidding. So, the little things this episode, we have one major thing, but we'll talk about it at the end. It's really not any new information, but we'll still discuss it at the end. But the little things, Jenna, flashback, we found out she made a move on Toby in the past.
Ugh, that almost made me puke.
And she's just like, I can't see your face. And Toby, grabs her hand. I'm like, Toby, how did you not see this coming? Toby, you have eyes, she doesn't. Or functioning eyes, anyway. How did you not see it coming?
For her, that's an intimate interaction. So, of course, she can assume that doing that would be...
I want to maybe possibly disagree on that, but... Because that is how blind people see.
Yeah, I know.
Can you imagine... Imagine being blind, and you have to feel around everything. That's how you see, right? So, it's not necessarily intimate. It's how you recognize things. So,
but no. I'm not talking about the actual action. I'm talking about what Toby did. He grabbed her hands and gave her permission.
Okay, but I want to ask you a kind of unrelated question before we dig into this. Would you say the scariest thing for a blind person would be reading Braille and feeling the words that said "do not touch"? Would that not be the scariest thing ever? Anyway, so you were saying. I mean, I'm not making a joke at blind people, but
no.
Honestly, you're taking it as a joke. But honestly, if I was blind and I was feeling the word "do not touch," I would practically shit my pants because I'm already touching it. So I
No,
like
I get that. I
I'd
get
be
that.
like, oh
That's
my
why
god,
I
what is this,
can't.
a flesh-eating disease? Like, I'd be fucking, freaking out. So, but yeah.
No, I understand where we're going with that. But as far as like it was the way that Toby did it that made her assume that it was an intimate interaction, like that, he was leading into something.
Yeah.
And we know that Jenna doesn't, she's not exactly, nobody's searching, like, searching for her affection because of what she's done in the past. So she's gonna take anything she can get at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like,
knowing that
everything that
her
she
and
has,
Toby had a
like,
history already.
knowing everything that, she has kind of gone to shit. Like, yeah, her relationship with Toby didn't end very well. Then the girl, I think her name was like Sasha or something, that she was with, and then Arya killed, and she never got real good closure on that.
Mm.
And now she has new best friend, Sarah, which for all we know could have potentially been a love interest for her. Sarah wound up dead. We saw her die at the end of last episode, and this episode, AD practically like, I know that you killed Elliot, and they're all worried, and the police come in to the Bradley. They're eating, and like they find out that it's not for them. Sarah's dead, and they're like, they know it's not an accident, but Jenna is super upset. You see her, she has got her glasses off, she is crying her eyes out. That's not a blind joke. But she's, and we see Sarah and her burned arm, right? The girls thought for a very long time she was faking that. And, now the arm comes flying out of the gurney, and they're just like horrified, and it's like, Emily,
Yeah.
you did this to her.
Arya's like, Emily, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, it, it's confirmation that you did damage.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think Emily knew that she did, and she's already, moved past it, kind
Yeah.
of thing. But it's
Yeah, but
still
what
a
stuck
shock.
what stuck with Emily though is the last thing that Sarah said to her, and Jenna's not the one to worry about. So who is? Is it Noel? Like, it sounds like Noel to me, because they align to do something, and then Noel comes in, and all of a sudden Sarah's like worried about something. So it seems like they're pointing at Noel, and we'll probably find out in like that episode, Wrath of Khan, like I said. So,
That name, seriously.
but it's Noel Khan. How is that a pun?
I know it. I can't.
Yeah. And I guess the final thing that I want to touch on, which, we kind of already talked about a lot in the last two episodes, but FBI comes to Ezra's apartment and tells Ezra that Nicole may be alive.
Yep,
So,
that she's
so
potentially alive.
how does it feel to be alive?
It
Nicole,
feels
I'm
like,
asking you.
yeah, it feels like I'm living.
Yeah?
I'm not a vampire sucking souls and blood and being heartless.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
hmm I'm a warm body.
Yeah. So, like I said, all this time, Nicole's alive. You were even kind of maybe questioning it, when the phone, you're trying to place some reasoning of, oh, it could just be somebody with the phone or whatever, but I think this kind of solidifies the fact that, this is
Maybe
going to
they're
cause
going
some
to the same
problems.
lead. Well, they're not going to Tuscany anymore.
Nope. Now Arya's all upset that she missed out on the Storm Cellar fun. Not really, but...
Whatever. You know
I mean,
what?
at least Emily was the only one that was backing her on that. I mean, she only talked to Emily about it, but still, Emily was like, "No, go do it. Like, you're not gonna miss out on the Storm Cellar. You're not gonna remember that at all. You're gonna remember eloping with Ezra."
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Emily,
Yeah.
but yeah, it would have been the best bet for Ezra and Arya
Yeah.
to elope like that. But now it's too late, and
Hopefully, they didn't book their flights.
obviously they did because they were going to be leaving as ASAP. They were packing and they had their luggage tickets all ready and everything. So it's
That's
like
true.
they were ready to go. If the FBI didn't come to the door, I'm pretty sure they would have left shortly after, or like during that night.
Yeah. It's gonna be bad. So, This is gonna throw them into a whole commotion. It's like all the couples right now don't stand a chance except for Hannah and Caleb, but something's gonna happen and pull them apart too.
Yeah, Spencer's gonna happen.
Yep. So now that you reminded me once again to show you the Spencer theory, I will not forget after the show. You will know the whole theory going into next week. It'll be great. So, yeah, that's about it. Next week, unless you have anything else. No? Yes? Maybe? No? Next week, the episode is called X's and OMGs. Emily goes for a position as the Rosewood High swim coach, only to learn that her ex-girlfriend Paige is also up for the job.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. We haven't seen Paige since she left for California, I think it was.
Yeah.
Hannah, I couldn't stand her, but she started getting better after they broke up, so who knows? Maybe I'll like her again. Hannah is visited by Mrs. Grunwald after she has a vision that the Pretty Little Liars are in danger. We have not seen Mrs. Grunwald since... Alright, she was in Ravenswood in the spinoff, but she did appear one other time after Ravenwood ended. It was kind of the episode, I think, if I remember correctly, it was the episode that also gave Caleb the closure to the storyline that finished in... or that didn't finish in Ravenswood.
Yeah.
So... yeah, so it'll be good to see Mrs. Grunwald again. She was, I think, the best part of Ravenswood, to be honest. So yeah, she has a vision that the Pretty Little Liars are in danger. Girls track down the doctor who delivered Mary's baby in order to get answers. What do you want to bet that that's Dr. Cochran?
Being that they mentioned Dr. Cochran this episode, that's a high possibility.
And finally, Allie decides to go back to work to help bring some normalcy to her life again.
So this is where she's... Because I'm pretty sure she still has Rollins as her last name.
Yep.
So it's probably coming back to the very beginning of this time jump thing, where she's writing her name on the chalkboard, Mrs. Rollins.
And
so
they come in and specifically say he's coming to get you, or something like that. He's here again or something. So yeah, that may be the case. We may finally jump to that. So that will be cool. So that's our show. Nikki, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Excellent. You can find me down below at Phenomedom, Phenomedom. You can also find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. Until next week. I don't know how to say goodbye in, where the hell were they going? Tuscany?
Isn't that, like, Italy? Or close to? I have no idea.